It's another September 11th. And for those of you who were born from the year 2000 on, you probably have no memory of the terror and horror and the traumatization that happened in the United States and across the world. Because of some very angry, very indoctrinated terrorists who flew planes into the World Trade Center buildings, which at the time were the tallest buildings in the United States, if not the world, and into the Pentagon, where our military heads of state, the chiefs of all of the military, symbolic of the defense of America, and the plane that flew into the ground because the passengers overwhelmed the hijackers, knowing that they were going to die, but determined to prevent the plane from flying into another building. Many people, like me, had precognitive dreams, had visions, had warnings. The psychics around the globe were particularly traumatized by this because we had the foreknowledge of it, and we kept seeing it over and over and over again, and there was nothing we could do about it because nobody was going to listen to us because we were the crazy people. Yesterday, when I spoke of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and said that it was needless, the comments in my comment section underneath the video, the only people that commented were people who were of a different political affiliation than I am. Although I'm a registered Democrat, I'm not really seeing myself as a Democrat because over the years I have voted for whoever I thought was the best person to hold the office, whether that person was a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or one of the other third parties. So, I just am not someone who espouses the continual rhetoric of violence towards others. I don't agree with the extreme zealotry and hypocrisy of conservative evangelicals who have become a part of the MAGA cult, who have forgotten everything Jesus taught because somebody presented himself as a savior for America and enabled them to be angry and hateful and treat others as lesser than them because they did not look the same or have the same religion or lifestyle or political leanings. And that was what happened in 9/11. The terrorists were Islamic, and that began a real hatred and suspicion and paranoia about the Muslims, the Islamics in this country. And if you had a Muslim-sounding name, you were placed on a no-fly zone list. Couldn't fly an airplane anywhere in the country or out of the country. Women wearing hijabs, their life were in danger. Men dressing in traditional Muslim clothing. Our country lost its mind after 9/11. And we just started getting it back and just started becoming the kind of people that we were before that happened, before all the terror and the anger, and the justified outrage because somebody had come on our land and had attacked us, the very heart, our financial heart of this country, which was the World Trade Center. We thought that was justified. But war's never justified. It's never glorified. It's never any glory to war. There's never any, at least as far as I can see, any real justification. Because wars are fought to take over land and resources, to conquer in the name of a specific religion, whether it's Islam or Judaism or Christianity or Hinduism or whatever religion you might think of. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christianity, although for 2,000 years it's been Christianity that has been at the root of most of the wars. The Crusades, the Inquisitions, all the other. The conquering of the United States of America, Turtle Island, and the genocide against the indigenous people of this country. Started with a mandate from the Pope saying that any place that didn't have Christians living there, the people were not human, and the land was empty. And that was how they justified it. On 9/11, we had the jihadists, the holy war by the Islam terrorists. They were committing suicide so they could have their 50 virgins in the Islamic heaven. Religion and politics make very, very strange bedfellows. That was why our country set up the separation between church and state, was so they wouldn't become bedfellows, that we would not become a theocracy, that we would not give in to the temptation towards dictatorships and autocracy. that we would be a country where people got along with each other, or tried to. People are going to say, I don't make sense. People are going to say, the devil's in me. That's what they did yesterday. But I'm telling you that if you read what Jesus said, what he taught, not what Paul or any of the other apostles taught, but what Jesus taught, you see a very big difference in what true Christianity is and what American Christianity is, and how far we have fallen from the teachings of the one we call Savior and Lord. And it's a pagan telling you this. A pagan who grew up Christian, excuse me, who believe in Jesus with all my heart and soul, who was indoctrinated in the same teachings that you've been indoctrinated in, the same belief system. Someone who has read the Bible cover to cover at least once a year for many years. I did. I still read the Bible. I don't do the cover to cover thing anymore. But before I deconstructed from Christianity, from the church specifically, not from Jesus, but from the church, I was like you in many ways. I learned the same kind of hatred and the same kind of violence, the same white superiority bullshit that the rest of you learned. Now, I'm mixed indigenous, so realizing that there's no race that is superior to any other race was a big revelation. Realizing that Jesus went beyond race and religion and lifestyle. And promoted love, acceptance, to love everyone as yourself, even your enemies, to be kind to strangers, to give clothing and food to those who are in need of those things, to visit the sick in the hospitals and those that are in jail. He taught a better way. "9 11 broke our hearts. It broke our spirit. And what is happening in the world today has broken our humanity. And the sadness that I feel every year on on September 11th and on the days leading up to it reminds me that we can do better as a nation, as human beings, no matter where we live in the world. We can do better. We can be better. If one lesson was learned on September 11th, it was that we gathered together and we cared about every person that died and every person that suffered. And the best side of us came out. Even before we went off to war. There's no glory in war. There's no glory in taking a gun and shooting somebody and killing them. The glory comes when you care about each individual human being and you do your best to make their life better. Have a good day, my friends.